I'm Austin, and this is Couch Warriors.
Victory Screech!
We're going to see Star Wars. Got to fuel up first with whatever that is. I've never been here before. It's called Buffalo Wrecker. So, I don't know.
25.
My friend Jacob picked it out. It's probably going to be disgusting. Hello. Jacob. Kevin, who hasn't got his food yet. He's the only one. Daniel and his girlfriend. I like that smile, Daniel. Warming up for Star Wars.
He just sat there. He wasn't even there.
So who's that supposed to be?
Yeah, he's gonna be real in this movie.
And we don't even know if he's really that tall.
I think he's that tall.
Well, his neck's probably that tall. But I mean, the projection.
I think he's that tall.
Does he look like?
I think the projection's probably bigger than he actually is.
Yeah, no shit.
But I still think he's a big dude.
He's probably a big dude.
Big dude.
He's an alien.
Big dude compensating for something.
You mean tiny shoes? That's what you meant to say.
Yeah.
I remember the other
Tiny
fan
shoes.
theory is Ren's staff she wields has to do with.
You don't even know her name?
Who cares?
I care because she's
Ray
very
Skywalker,
attractive.
because that's what everybody thinks is that she's
She's not a
Luke's
Skywalker.
kid.
She's
Not
got to
yet.
be a Skywalker.
No, she's not a Skywalker.
Yeah, she's got to be a Skywalker.
She's not a Skywalker.
She is a Skywalker. Right, Jacob?
I think she's.
How? She's not a Skywalker. That's what I'm saying. Prove it. She's not a Skywalker.
I think Luke trained her. It sucks that Han Solo died.
Alright, we got to do a quick rundown of all the other movies.
First one, like episode 1. This is Kelsey. Episode 1 sucks. Episode 2 sucked. Episode 3 sucks.
They were actually
The
very...
music was good. Episode 4 sucked. The music was good. Episode 5 sucked. All of them sucked. Episode 5 was the best.
Basically, there were 3 Death Stars. They got bigger progressively throughout the series.
But then there were other things that weren't called Death Stars, but they were just big
Giant
stars
robot
of death.
camels.
Yeah. You know the Star of Death?
After school programs and community events.
There's a lot of lasers and explosions. Yeah, do that again? I didn't catch that.
Middle school. You want to call
Okay, so since you've never seen the other ones, how do you feel going into number 8? Are you scared? Daniel, are you scared?
Oh, I'm terrified.
I think she's really scared. Can you see that? She's like shaking.
She looks terrified. I don't know what
Probably because I'm all up in her face with the camera.
Is Yoda gonna be in the movies? Yoda. He's supposed to be Yoda. That's what I read.
There's gonna be a ghost of Yoda, and he's gonna die again.
No, it's just gonna be Yoda.
All you are. The forever.
All right, Justin, who's gonna die? Kevin? Same. Luke? Jacob?
Same.
I think Ray's gonna die. Who's gonna die in the new movie?
I don't know, me. I'm rather excited.
Who do you think's gonna die?
Oh, what are the Jedis? There's only like 2 Jedis. Do it.
Alright, so we got Star Wars shakes. And so much for the lightsaber glow sticks. And just regular glow sticks.
But I mean, I guess so are lightsabers. So.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Alpha.
Just giant glow sticks. But it's got a brownie in it, so can't complain too much.
I don't have a spoon.
I'm not really sure what to say about this new Star Wars movie. I definitely liked it. Definitely thought it was a good movie. On the same other hand, it was kind of just like a little too much, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to give any spoilers. When I do start to give spoilers, I will tell you, hey, spoiler alert. The new movie was good. I definitely recommend going to see it. If you've seen the other 7, you're definitely going to like this one because, you know, you're probably a hardcore Star Wars fan. I enjoy Star Wars a lot. I wouldn't call myself hardcore, but I do like Star Wars. So I kind of have the same feeling. I'm kind of starting to get the same feeling about Star Wars that I'm getting about Fast and the Furious. Or like they're just trying to get another movie out. This movie kind of felt like a redo of number 5. Now that I'm going to get into the details, spoiler alert. And this movie is basically Planet Hoth all over again. This movie is basically like Hoth. except instead of ice, there is salt. Starts off, of course, with Rey going to see Luke. She hands him the lightsaber, and he just kind of takes it and tosses it behind him, which is it was pretty funny. I do have to say, this Star Wars movie is actually quite funny. There are a lot of jokes in it, and it's pretty funny. They do have some good comic relief stuff thrown in there. Rey tries to talk Luke into training her. He, of course, says no. Then she starts doing this weird thing with Kylo Ren, and they're kind of like seeing each other through the Force. They can't see each other's surroundings, they can just see each other. And like they get all like start talking to each other, and they actually like grab hands, and it's raining where Rey is at, and Kylo's on this big giant dreadnought ship. And they touch hands, and when they take their hands away, she was soaking wet, and so his hand is wet. So, right there you're like, what the hell's going on? This is some crazy stuff, dude. Since there's not that many Jedi left, there's technically 4. There's Luke, there's Rey, there is Kylo Ren, and of course, everyone knew it, but the other guy that was in the last movie at the end was Snoke. No surprise there. Probably everyone saw that coming, but it is Snoke. So Luke and Rey kind of have this little back and forth, and then Luke finally agrees to train her, and then she's he's like, oh, I'm a bad teacher, I'm not going to be able to train you the way you're supposed to be trained, and blah, 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 blah. Yoda shows up as the Force Ghost, which you kind of could have seen that coming if you know Star Wars at all whatsoever. Rey kind of becomes friends with Kylo a little bit. That kind of works out together. Then Luke just says, hey, you know what? This isn't going to work out, blah, 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 blah. I'm kind of a little sissy girl. And so Rey's like, see ya! And she goes back to try and help the rebels. Rey just goes onto the Snoke ship. Of course, Kylo puts the little stupid cuffs on her and takes her to Snoke. Snoke messes with her for a minute, chokes her a little bit, like with the Force, and like he plays around with her, and she tries to take the lightsaber, and he like swings it around and smacks her in the head, and then puts it back on his throne, and then it's pretty funny. And then he like holds her down with the Force, and he's like, Kylo, complete your training and kill Rey, become a Sith Lord. No. Kylo is like, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna do it. And so he's like getting his lightsaber ready, and he's got it all up like this, and like with his backhand, he's like over here, like pause. Snoke has got Rey's lightsaber on the throne right next to him. So Kylo's got his red lightsaber up here. He's using this hand to mess with Rey's lightsaber, and then he like turns it, and he sticks the lightsaber right through Snoke and pulls it out of him. So that was a little disappointing because Snoke basically did nothing. I mean, he toyed around with Rey a little bit, threw her up in the air, but he did no fighting. He didn't do jack. He just kind of sat in the throne and did nothing. But Star Wars. Kylo's like, hey man, Snoke is dead. All the Jedi are dead. Let's just forget about the Jedi. Let's forget about the Sith. Let's me and you join up together and we'll rule the entire galaxy. And of course, Rey, being the cool-ass hot chick that she is, she's like, no, you suck! And then they start a little fight. Kylo gets knocked out. And then, she's gone. Then fast forward, Kylo and Ren are both on the Salt Planet. I can't remember the name of it. But Luke also ends up on the Salt Planet. So, a bunch of stuff happens. I'll explain what all happens with the rest of the people later. I'm just going through the Jedi stuff right now. So Luke comes out of the base to fight Kylo. So they're sitting there fighting each other. And there's little sword fights. Luke is like, you know what, dude? You can just do whatever you want. But if you kill me in anger, then I'll be with you forever. And so Kylo just runs at him and goes, no! And slices him with his lightsaber. Like a cool movie fashion, and then he stands up and turns around like if you expect to see Luke like fall in half and be all dead. But he's like standing there just looking at him like, what's up, dude? And it's weird because you just literally saw the lightsaber go through Luke. It ends up Luke has been distracting Kylo from the rebels. That way the rebels have time to escape from the Salt Planet. And Luke is actually a Force hologram. Luke projected a hologram of himself onto the Salt Planet. And then after that's all done with, he kind of he's like, haha, got you, Kylo. And then he disappears. And Rey gathers the remaining rebels onto the Millennium Falcon. They take off into the sunset, firing arrows into the sunset off to the other side of the galaxy to another planet Where in the next movie they'll probably do just another freaking Death Star destroyer. I don't really know what's going to go. I don't have any clue where the next movie's going. But yeah, so Kylo gets all pissy again. That's kind of the last you see of him. He goes to Luke on his deserted island. And I guess his fight with Kylo, he took a bunch of damage before they fought. Like, he was a hologram, but like the robot camels like blasted him with their lasers. I don't get how that... I mean, I guess, since they can touch each other, some pain from that would be transferred. Not really sure about that. But it ends up that Luke just sits there on a little rock, and then he's like... It just shows him like meditating, like home, and then he just vanishes like Yoda, and that's kind of the end of Luke. I guess he's going to become a Force ghost like the other Jedi. Rey and Finn have been reunited, so at the end of the movie they're all hugging and all that good stuff. Okay, so now to explain what happens with the Rebels. Okay, so in the beginning, the Rebels take off from the planet. They First Order has found them. The Rebels are escaping a planet. They go to leave, right? Poe goes and destroys a dreadnought with some bombers, but the bombers get destroyed in the process, so there's no more bombers. The First Order follows them because they have a tracking system that can track you through hyperspeed now, apparently. So they get out of the jump, and then about 20 seconds later, there's the First Order right behind them. They're like, oh my god, if we jump into hyperspace again, they're just gonna reappear right behind us, and then we're gonna be out of fuel. Let that sink in. This Star Wars is about the rebels running out of fuel. Yeah. Okay, so after they do that, Poe is like, hey, so we gotta sneak on to Snoke's ship, because Snoke came there himself and he's chasing them. So we gotta sneak onto Snoke's ship and we gotta find them. We gotta find that tracking system and shut it off. So that way they have enough time to get away from their tracking system and, escape. So, needless to say, they go through a bunch of other stuff. They travel to another planet to find this guy that can crack into their shield. They bring him back. They sneak onto the ship. The code cracker guy betrays them. So they evacuate the first ship into a bunch of little tiny ships. They're under a cloaking device, though. And the code breaker guy, he betrays them as well. He tells them, hey, these little small ships are trying to get away, and they're distracting you with the bigger ship. The transport ship. They get away on the little transports and they're distracting you with the big transport ships. So there's this chick with purple hair. She's the lady off the old Jurassic Park movies, Dr. Grant's wife. And she takes the big ship and she's like, oh my god, I'll save you! And she goes out a little ways and does a U-turn, charges up hyperspeed, and boom! Right through Snoke's ship. I have to say, that is the coolest explosion in the movie. This looks so cool. And then that's when Rey and Kylo are fighting. So blah 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 blah. And then Rey escapes. And then she goes down to the salt planet. And that's when she saves the other people. Then the Jedi fight. And so on and so forth. The giant robot camels, they send those out, and they have this salt planet has a big blast shield that goes down over the cave. And supposedly that's the only entrance and exit. So the giant robot camels are coming this way, and the First Order, of course, has this giant miniaturized Death Star battering ram that they send out to break down the barrier. Have you ever noticed that the bad guys always have the cool stuff? Luke comes out, they blast him, he's a hologram, doesn't do anything. Then the fight ensues. While they're distracted, of course there's a secret entrance in the back that all these little crystal dogs lead them to, which is weird. Crystal dogs, they look like foxes but made of crystals, which is kind of cool because I like it, but still. Rey saves them, so they end off riding into the sunset. Rey, Finn, Poe, Mrs. Han Solo, Leia, and that's it. Kylo's still alive, Snoke's dead, Luke's dead, Yoda's still dead, Han Solo's still dead. Oh, and there's a little teaser. When they go to that extra planet to get the code guy, there's a little stable boy. He goes to sweep up the stable area, and he grabs the broom, like it's right here, and he grabs it with the force, like, whoa. into his hand, you know. And they had given him a little rebel ring, so it's like he's holding the broom with his little rebel ring on. It's kind of funny, but yeah. So that's it. That's Star Wars 8. It is a great movie. I do recommend it. I give it about a 4-star. I like it.
But it was good.
You didn't what, Jake?
I didn't like the last 30 minutes, but it was good.
Why not?
There was stuff that didn't need to be there.
What do you think of the movie, Dad?
It was alright. I don't know. I mean, I've seen better. What do you think?
Seen better.
I thought it was pretty good.
I think the first 2 hours of it were good, and then it fell apart.
Hell with that, man. The first 3 Star Wars originals will never be those. Y'all seen those, right?
Yeah, it's basically all the same now.
Yeah, they're all
They're
just
just like
rebuilding
repeats.
It, really. Yeah.
Except new people die.
Y'all
Like,
can keep up with all that crap, like what's happening and all that, man. I don't know what the hell.
I was kind of disappointed that Snoke just sat there in a chair and didn't
Yeah, I
even
was
fight.
super disappointed about that.
The bald guy with the
okay.
messed up face. He
I
just
thought
kind
he
of
was
sat
going to
there.
be more. They built him up to be so much more, and then like.
He's dead
Yeah.
in like one
Well,
episode, one part.
But
Well,
what's
it
his
is-
face
it
did
is-
complete his Sith training or
It
whatever.
is fantasy. Who knows? He might not be gone.
I like the crystal dogs though. Those are pretty cool.
The whole storyline was kind of lame, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just pretty weak.
Chasing the ship around and running out of
It
gas.
was at a yeah. If you break it down, it's
Like Austin's dad said, I like the original trilogy better.
it's just really.
It's hard to beat.
It's just really long.
It's hard to beat, especially when they copy the movie.
Not
You
a
can't
lot
do
of-
much else. I
I'm
mean,
too old, man. I can't keep up.
I feel like not a lot of story really happened in this movie either. Like there's
It's just
some more character development, but that's about it.
instead of them defending a base, they're just running away to a new
It's
base.
episode 5 again, to where they're like, hey, this is ambiguous. We'll wrap it all up in episode 10, 9.
Yeah, that's kind of how episode 5 was too.
I think they're gonna squeeze a lot of movies out of it, just like Fast and the Furious is doing.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want to know more of. And I will see you guys next time.